Far Out fam, this is Jillian with Far Out Tiny Homes. Today we're going to be discussing low-income tiny home communities for singles, couples, and families. So let's get into it. If you don't want to wait for your state to pop up, then just go ahead and skip forward until you find what you're looking for. The first stop that we're going to make today is Oregon, and we're going to discuss the Square One Villages. Now, we have actually discussed this beautiful community before in our Tiny Homes Across the US video that I'll link up here somewhere, okay? I'll also link it in the description box. But I'm going to specifically focus on 3 communities within Square One. The first one being in Eugene, Oregon. Emerald Village in Eugene, Oregon is a really beautifully done community co-op. Their whole approach is to permanently offer affordable housing for very low income folks. What I really like about this is their commitment to offering affordable housing that's beautiful to folks that might not have another opportunity to live in a community like this. All of the homes offered in Emerald Village are a tiny home approach, so 400 square feet or less. They were designed by local architects in the Eugene, Oregon area and either built by the same company or built by other companies that donated their time. What I love about Emerald Village is that their permanent affordable housing rent structure varies between $250 and $350 a month. So not only are they providing a beautiful space for low-income folks, but it's going to be sustainable, it's going to continually be affordable, and most important, it's a safe environment. Each of the 22 homes at Emerald Village are designed as permanent dwellings on a slab foundation. So complete with sleeping and living areas, a kitchenette, and a bathroom, and all are around 160 to 288 square feet. What I really like about this space is the individual dwellings are supported by a community clubhouse. Within the community clubhouse, you'll have access to a gathering area, a bigger community kitchen, laundry, more restrooms, and storage of common resources like tools and other appliances. So they have really thought about all the things that their residents would need in order to have a successful and happy tiny home life. Members make monthly payments of between $200 and $300 to the cooperative to cover utilities, maintenance, long-term reserves, and all other operating costs. Each member also pays a membership fee of $50 per month, enabling them to create a modest asset that can be cashed out if and when they choose to leave. So basically, it's like a savings account. Square One retains ownership of property and trust to assure continued affordability to future members of the co-op. This is seriously one of the coolest approaches to create housing obtainability and housing affordability, and I love that it's centered around a co-op, and all the residents and the team members work together to create this beautiful cooperative environment, securing not only your safety but your housing affordability. I think it's just so beautiful. Hey, if you wouldn't mind, hit that thumbs up button. Let me know how I'm doing. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I mean, don't leave me negative stuff, but if you want to leave some positive stuff, go ahead. Shoot a comment down below and let's get back to it. Okay, now we're going to discuss Opportunity Village in Eugene. So this village really focuses on helping the folks that are unhoused kind of transition into a permanent housing situation. So Opportunity Village in Eugene is actually considered a transitional tiny home community. So we're not thinking of staying here for long amounts of time. What they want to do is kind of hone on getting the unhoused into homes, creating a safe environment to then work on the next step, which is obtainable housing, more so permanent obtainable housing. The focus is on unhoused individuals and couples alike. So there's a few criteria that one would meet to need to become a villager, is what they're called. 1, you currently need to be unhoused. 2, you're going to need to be willing to agree to the terms of the community. And 3, you're going to need to be willing to actively participate in community gatherings. You'll also have to go through a background check and an interview process, and you do need to be over the age of 18. So Opportunity Village doesn't have services available on site, but they do partner with other nonprofits to bring services into the community. So whatever the resident may need, whether that's help with sober living or help obtaining food, finding job placement, anything like that, they would have the correct connections to help their residents out. Okay, we're gonna step away from Eugene, Oregon, and we are going to head south to Cottage Grove. So Cottage Grove is a really small, kind of rural little town, about 45 minutes outside of Eugene, Oregon. So Cottage Village mirrored the Emerald Village in the sense of approaching housing for low-income individuals as affordable and obtainable and safe. So they're more so like a co-op versus Unity Village, which is really more so for the unhoused, and that's considered transitional. So both Emerald Village and Cottage Village are more concerned with keeping folks in permanent, stable housing in a safe and secure environment. Cottage Village opened in 2020, so they're a little bit newer than the Emerald Village, and their rates are a little bit higher, which I found kind of interesting. So their carrying charge is about $350 to $500 a month. So kind of depending on what your current financial situation is, I would look at both villages, I would tour both villages, and I would also apply to both of them and see what I get into because both of them have a wait list. So we're gonna take a break from the West Coast now and let's head out to Michigan in Detroit. There is an organization in Detroit called Cass Community Social Services, and they have taken on this huge endeavor of building tiny homes for folks that need it the most. So this project is currently in the process of building 25 tiny homes with varying square footage sizes with nothing more than 400 square feet. Each home will sit on its own lot, roughly 30 by 100 feet, and every single home will be placed on a foundation. Most of the homes will have front porches or a rear deck. The residents will have a combination of experiences. Perhaps they're formerly homeless, senior citizens, college students, and a few Cass staff members as well. And they will also have to qualify as low income. So why does this community stand out to me? Well, let me tell you, not only is it a tiny home community, and again, we're approaching trying to help the low income folks. Now, whether that's somebody that's a senior citizen or somebody in college or whatever the circumstance is, they are again another community offering a safe place for obtainable housing. But what I love the most about this program is if you are within this community for 7 years, you can then transition into home ownership. So the folks that get into this community, I mean, they really are looking at a permanent situation. They want to be there. They want to have a home. They want to have the ability to be offered home ownership. And it takes 7 years of being within the community for that to happen, which I think is remarkable. And I really haven't heard of that approach before. If you're in Michigan and you're really interested in looking into more of this, please contact the Cass Community Social Services. Okay fam, now we're gonna head back to the West Coast and we're gonna go to Washington. There is an organization called the Low Income Housing Institution, and they are currently working on 28 shelters in true tiny home form to house folks that are unhoused. And I know I keep saying unhoused. That word homeless, I mean, it has such weird connotations. I'm sure many of you know that sometimes you make a couple bad decisions and you wind up in a place that you never saw yourself living in. And that is why communities like this one we're about to talk about are so incredibly important. People need to know that they made a mistake, they can get back on track, and there are services to put them back on that track. So let's dig in here. So this new village that is coming soon is absolutely geared towards people that are currently unhoused. The tiny homes will be fully insulated with heat, electricity, and a locking door. And they will also provide high quality shelter for about 35 unhoused neighbors. The village will include 24/7 operational and security staff, the Low Income Housing Institute, along with case management to help residents obtain permanent housing, employment, healthcare, and other services. So what I love about this community is that, again, it's another approach to transitional housing, but in the tiny house format. So they realize that they can get a lot of folks in these homes, get them on the right track, and then connect them to their next step, which would be permanent housing. You know, once they have their job security and they're on track with being able to maintain housing. All right, so now we are going to head over to Utah. I have a program to tell you about that blew my mind. Not only does it make so much sense, but this program is revolutionary. We are going to be discussing Fresh Start Ventures, and let me tell you, I am blown away by this. I want to bring this to Las Vegas so bad. I think it is just the coolest program. We got some work to do here in Las Vegas before we can make it happen, but oh my gosh, just listen to this. So Fresh Start Ventures created a program for tiny home ownership. Okay, that sounds great, right? But let me tell you how this all works. So basically, instead of the village approach, these are one-off tiny homes that are built and they are placed in the mentoring family's backyard. So similar to an accessory dwelling unit or an ADU. We've talked about those a lot on this channel. The homes have all sorts of different amenities and are self-sufficient. So meaning they will have everything you need: kitchen, sleeping quarters, bathroom, living space, storage, right? So basically with this program, a mentoring family opts to have a tiny home placed in their backyard. The tiny homes are offered to folks with low income, folks struggling with housing, and most importantly, have gone through this program called Real Transition. And it's basically getting folks back on their feet. So once the mentor family has been established, the home is built, the home is placed, then the resident is welcomed in. And that mentoring family does just that. They try to help them through this transitional time. So the resident does pay rent. The resident will pay rent into this program offered by Fresh Start Ventures for a specific amount of time, whether it's going to be a few years or a few months or whatever it is. Now, at the end of their stay, for however long that stay was, the Fresh Start Ventures then gives the tiny home resident that money so they have a down payment to buy their own house. Amazing. But you're probably going, well, what about the mentoring family? What do they get out of this? These people just living rent-free in their backyard. Well, what they get out of it is after completion of the program, the mentoring program, they get to keep the tiny home. So it's like, you get to help somebody out. That person gets to live in a safe and healthy environment, learn new skills, get on their feet. They get a chunk of money to get their own house upon the whole program completion. The family that allowed this to happen gets to keep the tiny home. And I haven't told you the coolest part yet. You're going, okay, cool. Who's building these homes? Fresh Start Ventures has paired up with some of the correctional institutes in Utah, and we have inmates building these homes. So this program just blows my mind. So not only are we helping our inmates further their skill set, but then we're getting, some unhoused people off the street. So they're getting some money saved up so they can one day get their own place. And then the family that made it all possible gets to keep the tiny home in the end. I just think it is the coolest idea. I would absolutely love to bring something like this to Vegas. So if you are here in Southern Nevada, drop a comment below. Let me know, what are your thoughts on this? If you're anywhere, what are your thoughts on this? Would this be something that either you could be a mentoring family? Would you do that? Why would you do that? Or two, would you want to be a part of this program if it was offered in your state? Let's start that conversation, because this is something revolutionary. I haven't seen it done in any other state, but if you have, I'm curious to learn more. So just let me know. Okay, we are staying in Utah and we are headed up north to Salt Lake City. There is a very cool master plan community currently being developed called the Other Side Village. And again, this is for folks with chronic homelessness that perhaps have just kind of been in that homeless or unhoused cycle and they need to break free. So the other side is really geared towards folks that are chronically homeless. They just can't break free from that cycle. And those kind of folks, they definitely need other support services to break that cycle and learn that they are completely worthy of a home all of their own that is not only safe, but permanent. So these homes that are being developed are absolutely stunning, and they're a full tiny home build out. So there will be a full kitchen, full bathroom, living space, sleeping space. and the community welcomes both males and females. So not only will these homes include all the amenities one would really need and built in a beautiful setting, but there's also a ton of on-site services available as well. Some of these on-site services are a community garden, salon, coffee shop. The village will have social enterprises, retail, and services that will be open to the public. And they will include Airbnb grouping, a community garden, a salon and coffee shop, an event venue, a grocery store, and retail and social enterprises. And all of that will go into helping maintain this incredible village. So this specific community has their own YouTube channel, so I don't want to dive in too deep. If you're interested in learning more about this village or maybe being a resident, I would definitely look at their YouTube, check out their website, and go from there. All right, fam, I hope that you have found this long overdue video extremely helpful. I have a whole bunch of other states that I'm going to cover in a follow-up video, and you are really facing housing scarcity. I would love to be a resource for you, so please leave a comment below with other states you would like me to cover. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. We are expanding this community, it seems like every day. Thank you all so very much for tuning in, and I hope you keep it groovy.